I think doing the math ahead of time saying, okay, well, can I survive on 200,000? Is that like, does my personal life support me only making this? And that's where you almost have to do your personal accounting as a new business owner. What does your personal spending look like in conjunction with starting this new business? Because so unfortunately, when you become a business owner like that, then you almost have to do kind of a personal strategy saying, collectively, can my personal life handle maybe a dip in income for a certain amount of time, or until you get to your next, like, oh, this many clients or this much revenue kind of situation.
There's another way to look at it as well, and I'd love your opinion on this, is sometimes when we're making a lot of money, our lifestyle's out of balance. So we feel like we need a lot of money in order to offset it. So like when I was switching, I had a highly successful consulting business that, was made me great money, but it wasn't like making me happy. I was traveling a lot. I was away from home all the time. And I want to be more at home with the kids and all of that kind of stuff. So I pivoted from consulting to the mentoring business that I have now. And that pivot took me way back financially for a couple of years. But what I found from a pure profitability standpoint in terms of like my income is I was spending so much money on just things to like recover from that. Like I was going on a lot more trips. Like I would do a lot of trips. And it's like, yeah, I still wanted to travel, but I didn't need it in the same way. Like, oh my God, I got to get away. And sometimes there people are like, well, I've got like this huge house with this huge mortgage and, but the kids are out of, like the kids are at this stage. I'm like, well, do you need that big house? Because maybe you could sell it and get a smaller house, have less of a payment, and now your revenue pressure is less. Is that like good
Absolutely.
advice or is that bad advice? Like that
No, I think
maybe,
that's great advice. And ultimately, like, you are your business. So like, you looking to say, well, what's going to make me happy? Like, yeah, you have to look at, yes, you're a business owner, but what's your whole pie look like, right? And that includes your home, that includes your travel, that includes family, that includes, what kind of life do you want? And I think COVID really made people think about that a little bit
mm-hmm,
more.
mm-hmm.
We were stuck at home and we were thinking about things like that, about balance, like, hey, do I really want that hour and a half commute to the office every day? Pretty nice that I don't have to get in the car and be angry in traffic, right? And so I think people's, mindset has shifted. So what actually makes me happy? Because some people are fine grinding 8 hours, but then you add another 2 hours of commuting, and that 2 hours really stretches them thin when they could be at home eating dinner, or they could be, exercising, or they could be out with friends. Like, that time is precious. 2 hours a day is a lot of time, right? And so that's where I think people are reprioritizing to say, well, you know what? If I make 50 grand less, like, gosh, that's probably worth it. Because then you break it down what your hourly wage is. And if you get 2 hours a day back by not having to grind, some people are like, well, hey, that's only $100 a day. That's worth it to me. Right. And that's where, you can kind of take dollar amounts and like I said earlier, putting a value on your time. And I think that's hard for people to do, but my time is valuable because I have a dollar amount associated with my time. And I know that sounds like kind of callous and like it sounds weird, but you have to put a value on your time. And if something's not worth your time, sometimes I say, that's not that I'm not going to do that because that's not a smart decision because my time is valuable. And I think a lot of people who start a business don't see their time as a monetary value. So they do things for free and, oh, I'll just do that. And, oh, I'm a startup, so I'll just give that. And I'll, do a lot of things and go to all these meetings and not charge people. And people tend to like, and it's like, well, no, if you're worth $200 an hour, you're worth $200 an hour. Maybe you're worth $75 an hour. Whatever that dollar amount is, your time is precious. And that really has helped me as a business owner, a mom of small children, all of those different hats that I wear, a wife. It's really helped me say, okay, is this important? And sometimes the answer is no, or I outsource it to say, you know what, that's not a good use of an hour of my time. And that's, again, it's that mind shift, and you have to do that in your personal life. Like, is picking up my kid from school, if that's important, then you have a hard stop at 3:30, and then you outsource to someone else after 3:30 to get work done that you're not going to, right? Or I want to work out in the morning, so I want to start my day at a certain time. If that's a core value to you, then you shouldn't make that exception, because your time is valuable, and so it's hard to explain. And a lot of people I talk to, they haven't like been able to wrap their head around their time being a monetary thing. And when you do, it kind of almost like makes decisions easier. You can say, yeah, that's not worth my time, or you know what, that is 100% worth my time. That is gonna make this client super happy. They're a high paying client. This is like, I need to be right here, right then. And then I have someone else go pick up my kids from school, because like, this is really important, right? And so then I'm making those constant different decisions, maybe daily. But I think that kind of helps you find a balance. And then also be, when you're in your business, and when you're not, try to
What
have a time away.
it seems like there's a meta theme of what I'm hearing of what you're saying is like be of intention of what you're choosing to do. Like really be conscious of what it is that, where your money is, what your goals are, and all of this. And when you're making decisions, be intentional. Like it's fine to do whatever it is that you're doing, but don't do it out of fear. Don't do it as like, well, I have to do this because this client's not going to want to work with me. It's like, no, I'm going to use this time because this is important to me. I really want to be here for this client. I don't know which way it's going to go, but it means something to me, so it's worth it. Versus like, well, if I don't give them this for free, then maybe they're not going to like me, or any of those reasons. But to say no, I think this goes to what you were earlier saying. Like I own my worth means I own what I have to offer and what I'm trying to create, and I'm going to get paid appropriately. And I'm going to use my time in a way that is congruent with that worth.
Totally. Absolutely.